Welcome. We're going to take a look here at conclusion paragraphs, and we're looking particularly at the conclusion paragraphs that you would use in an essay. Our goals for today are to take a look at what is paragraphing. We're going to review introduction and body paragraphs, and then we're going to look in depth into conclusion paragraphs. In terms of background information, you've done a lot of reading and a lot of writing in your time. I'm sure that you've written many essays, so this should be familiar information to you, although we may get you some new details. So what are paragraphs? What are we talking about here? Paragraphs are the building blocks of writing. We use them particularly in essays, stories, reports, and other styles of writing. We're going to be focusing particularly on essays today. And what is paragraphing? Paragraphing is an activity, it's a series of steps that writers will take when they structure, formulate, edit, and perfect their paragraphs. All right, let's review really quickly what introduction paragraphs are and what go into them. Introduction paragraphs are the first paragraph that are used in an essay, and they will include hook statements, a thesis statement, multiple general support statements, and a conclusion statements. The really important thing about the introduction paragraph is that they've got a strong thesis because that is the backbone of an entire essay. Following the introduction, you will have multiple body paragraphs. You may have anywhere from 2 to 200 body paragraphs, so it can be a pretty wide range. And within body paragraphs, you're going to have an introduction topic sentence, and then you'll have multiples of both general support statements and detail statements. You'll finish every body paragraph with a conclusion statement. Really, the only difference between an essay body paragraph and a research paper body paragraph is that in the research paper, you're going to cite your sources of where you collected your information. Now let's take a look at introduction or topic sentences. This is how we start a conclusion paragraph. It's pretty similar to the thesis statement in how it's constructed. It's a statement of fact, and its purpose is to support the thesis statement. So you want to keep all of those things in mind as you're creating that topic sentence. Following that, you're going to give your general support statements. This is in a very similar manner as how you structured your introduction paragraph. You have broad general statements that summarize and synthesize many details, all of which are supporting that thesis statement. You're going to restate your main points in your conclusion. That's what you're going for. And then finally, your conclusion statement that goes in your conclusion paragraph. This is your statement that wraps it all up, wraps up your paragraph, which is focused in on the content of the thesis, and it wraps up your entire essay. This is your last opportunity to get your point across. Let's take a look here at an example conclusive paragraph. The aisles of library bookshelves are overflowing with fantastic literature, and among the Elizabeth Bennets and Romeo Montagues are zombies and vampires. Supernatural protagonists create more depth of character and setting. They cross genre boundaries, allowing writers more latitude and creativity. And they are such strong figures in popular culture that teens and younger readers connect to their coolness factor. Today's literature is teeming with the supernatural, and that has increased the excitement and engagement of readers everywhere. We can see here up at the top that our first blue sentence, that is our introduction sentence. In the middle here, in the red, those are our general support statements. And then we finish up with our conclusion sentence. It's wrapping up the entire paper. It's restating our thesis. Where are conclusion paragraphs used? They're used everywhere. Any place that you're going to use paragraphs generally, you're going to use conclusion paragraphs. Now they may be a little bit differently structured depending upon the kind of writing. So a news article may have a slightly different conclusive paragraph than, say, a formal letter, but they still both use conclusive paragraphs. Questions that students frequently ask: do I always need a conclusion? That is the case most of the time. The only time that I can think of that you don't necessarily need a full conclusive paragraph would be on a short answer. A short answer, typically if you have a very strong conclusive statement at the end of your last paragraph, you're okay. Is it okay to use a question for a conclusion? This typically backfires. I've seen students do this quite a bit where they will end an essay with a question, and typically it's a bummer for your reader. It leaves them hanging, it leaves them with this kind of burning question. Sometimes it can work, but honestly it's fairly infrequent that it works well. Can a conclusion be only one sentence? Only if it's going to be a very weak conclusion. So if you want a strong conclusion, which I'm sure that you do, you definitely want to include more than just one sentence. What are students expected to do? At this point, students should be able to organize their writing, use strong conclusion paragraphs, and ensure that they're always writing with depth, breadth, and detail as an expectation in all strong writing. At this point, what you should know and be able to do is know what is paragraphing, understand the introduction and body paragraphs, and also write your own conclusion paragraphs. I hope this information is useful to you in your writing. Good luck!